Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I apologize for really not being here at all last week. Well, this week for me, last week for you guys. You get the gist. Happy Tuesday. I'm going to do a video Tuesday, today, and Thursday, and then we'll be hopefully back to the regularly scheduled Monday, Wednesday, Fridays next week. To give you kind of a rundown, a lot's happened, but not a lot has happened at the same time. Really busy week this week, and not a lot of Fairmont stuff happened. So we can really kind of go back to the beginning of this week for me, and I'll just do a quick little recap, and then we are going to get into some issues we have found with the Fairmont and the suspension as it is, and it changes a lot of things. It's not great, but it's not too bad. It is what it is, and actually it has a lot to do with this going on the board. I don't know if you can see that though, but I'll go over that in a second. But let's start kind of beginning of this week. We'll start it on Saturday, and Saturday, I went to Dave Will's house, welded up some suspension, or not suspension, holy crap, it's been a long week. I welded up some steering components for him. I'll throw those on the screen now. From there we went to Monday night. I helped Dad pour some concrete, nothing car related. Then I do want to bring into July 16th. There is a chassis cert date at Estes Safety Park. I don't know if they're still taking people. You can contact them and find out, but we are going. We are bringing the Fairmont, and that is where things get a little busy. And the reason for that is because the 17th, the day after that Sunday, is my race that I'm sponsoring and I'm supposed to be building trophies for. So I got to get the Fairmont rolling, and I got to build trophies, and I got to do floor patches, and now I have to do a plan for the Fairmont that I will talk about in about 2 seconds. I just got to get through our little morning announcements per se. I wrote this a few days ago, so I got to refer back to it. But here's what we got going on. So the 16th is chassis cert day. I got to get this thing rolling. How I'm going to do that is I'm going to take all the old suspension pieces and put them back on, all the old wheels and stuff, so that way it rolls. So thankfully, I was supposed to sell my 4-lug wheels. Luckily, never did. And those can go back on the old rear end that's going to go in there. And the old front struts are right here because I had to get them out of the storage container. They're going up front. I do have to order A-arms. I'm going to do that tonight. And we're going to get this thing rolling for the 16th and get everything all tidied up so I can get this chassis certed, and then that's taken care of and that's done. So that'd be cool. So that's thing number one, chassis cert July 16th. And then after this thing's set, I have to make trophies for the 17th. Luckily I only got to do 2, not that big of a deal, but still very time consuming. And that is that's kind of where our regular announcements start. So, or that's where our quick little debriefing ends, I should say, not even starts. This is where the Fairmont stuff starts, and we'll do a little walk around and I'll explain the issues going on and how it's kind of turned into a larger scale problem. And it's not, there's not an easy fix per se. There is an easy fix, but I'm not doing it. So what we got going on is Monday, I did concrete. Tuesday, we played with the rear end stuff and we took some measurements. I was going to order a 9-inch housing that is for a Mustang, Fairmont, that kind of stuff. And I was just going to order a 9-inch housing and get it cut to the dimensions I want, and then get axles and all that stuff, and we'd fit the wheels we got and all that stuff, and it'd be a 9-inch over the 8-inch or 8.8, which is a upgrade. But we ran into some problems. So obviously with a 9-inch, we would have kept it factory suspension or factory location suspension. It's still going to stay stock suspension, but there's going to be a few changes to it. Pretty much I'm going to have to turn this around and talk to you guys and show you guys what we got going on. So I'm going to turn the camera around, and we are going to start talking about the problems that I am running into at the moment with the Fairmont. We do have a solution. However, it's not the easy solution, but it is the best solution, and it's only going to make this car better. So luckily, there's no real time frame on when this thing needs to be done. It needs to be done for next season, 2023 season. So the route we are going is a lot more work, but it's going to be worth it in the end. So I'm going to turn this camera around. I'm going to start talking about what we got going on, and then we are going to go from there, and I'm going to explain how we're overcoming this problem and the cool part about it. So I'm gonna turn this camera around, talk to you guys about the problem that we're running into and how we plan to solve it, and whether it's the correct way or not. I feel it's the best way, so that's all that matters. So I'm gonna turn this camera around and I'm gonna tell you guys our problem. Okay guys, so this is where our problem starts. As you can see, we have found ride height, or our desired ride height with the car. Obviously sitting real low. The fact that this quarter panel pretty much comes down to the bead lock within maybe half an inch is picture perfect how we want this thing to sit, and it looks really, really good. And still bunch of room for suspension use and things like that, and obviously we can clearance more or less and make it work. Shocks obviously coming out the back or out the floor, and it just looks really, really good. I'm lower better for me. Now I know that a car sitting a little higher is going to be better for traction and stuff like that on the lower prep side of things, but I don't care. I'd rather look good, and this looks really good. So this is where our problems begin, though. In doing this, I'm going to crawl underneath, and I'm going to explain kind of the issue that we're running into. So I'm going to grab a flashlight, and we'll start explaining. So the thing about this thing looking really good and this tire working in this position is... Let's crawl underneath here. All right, so I'm under the car now, and this is where we start running into problems, other than this old anti-roll bar that really needs to be changed out. These should move pretty freely, so I gotta change that out. But there's a few other things underneath this car that I gotta tackle. One of them is now suspension issues. So with the car being this low, and obviously we had to bring the tires in, we measured it. We measured my stock 8.8. We are taking about 10 inches out of the total length. I believe it was 50, I want to say it was 58-ish. We are now 48 inches from, not including brakes and things of that nature, but from axle to axle, we are about 48 inches. And this is where we run into problems. We've brought these wheels in, and if you are familiar with a Fox body or a fair amount of this type of stuff, we got a triangulated-ish four-link setup. So you got your tops that come to the housing, and you got the bottoms that come out to the housing. Now, what we ran into problems is we, in bringing this tire in, have gotten into a point where we are going to run into suspension problems, and there's an easy fix, yes. But it's not a fix that we want to do. Now, the easier fix is obviously... Now, I'm going to get out from underneath the car to explain this, but if you guys kind of understand the problem is our lower control arms on the rear end are going to interfere with where we want to set these tires and where we want our ride height to be. So it's going to kind of run into a few problems, but there's a solution, and it does involve a lot of work. So that is currently our problem, is this control arm is going to interfere with the tire. Same on this side. I just don't have that control arm in. So as I crawl out, the obvious solution to this is to raise the car up and bring those wheels out. The problem I have with this is then this thing is going to sit like every other Fox body Mustang, every other Fairmont out. Well, not every other, but the majority of the stock location suspension guys. Thing sits up high. The tire is like just hanging out of the wheel well. And it's just not a great look. I mean, it's not one of my favorite looks. It's something I truly want to avoid completely. So to pretty much get it to work, I mean, you know, we're sitting, this is extreme. We're sitting a little bit lower than this, but the tire sits further out. It doesn't allow us to drop the car down as much, and it just doesn't give us our desired look. So how do we combat our tires interfering with the stock location of the suspension? And of course, this is a problem we've brought on ourselves by trying to get this thing to sit lower and move those wheels in. So there's an easy thing that we are going to solve, and easy. This is a whiteboard deal. So pretty much we have to back half this car to a point. We do have to cut the rear frame rails out, and because if you crawl back underneath, the rear frame rails are pretty narrow. So whether we wanted to go ladder bar or something else, those rear frame rails are pretty narrow and they're going to be in the way, and it's just not that great of a design in what we're trying to do. So to prevent that, I know I'm trying to make this video short as just a quick update, but it's really not happening. So long story short, we have to back half the car, and we are going to go with a set of Tin Soldier race cars, low prep, 4-link setup, and we're going to put a 9-inch underneath it. So I'm going to build my first 4-link setup. We are changing the car. I mean, we're cutting this whole back of the car out pretty much within reason. Obviously, we don't want to touch the cage because it'll be, you know, as much. I don't want to change a whole bunch of stuff, but that's what we got going on. So our huge problem is we want the car to sit too low. And the fix for that is we don't make it sit low and we push the tires back out, but that's not the fix we want to do. Instead, I'm going to order up some more tubing. I'm going to order up some more, not even more, but I'm going to order up some Tin Soldier race car 4-link brackets and 4-link links. And I'm going to build my own 4-link. So I'm going to have to build my own frame back here and pretty much back half the car. So it's not that much good news. It does allow me to do some more fab work, which is sweet. I will enjoy that. But it's not, obviously, it's not ideal. Ideally, I would have loved to just, or got the length of the rear end, ordered it, and had it show up, slap it in, and then have everything fit. But this is hot rodding. That doesn't happen. But on the other side is I think I will be happier building my own 4-link setup rather than using the stock location deal, using the factory 4-link setup. Not that there's anything wrong. There's a lot of cars that work extremely well. A lot of Fox bodies that work extremely well with the stock location stuff. But I think I'm going to be happier learning, building my own 4-link. So that's kind of where we're at. That's why there was no videos this week, is because we had a roadblock and we had to figure out what we wanted to do. Initially, we thought ladder bar because it would be quick and easy. But I said, no, let's make this a little more challenging. Let's have some fun with it. And is what it is. It's not ideal. Ideally, like I said, I would love to just order a rear end and have that thrown in, but it is what it is. So so the lack of videos is because busy, ran into a roadblock, and had to get through it. So we did. I have the route I want to go, but it's one of those 2-step forwards, 5-step backwards, it feels like. But that's all right. It's hot rodding. I'm not that worried about it. So I'm going to end this video off here. I'm sorry I was just rambling, but I felt like it was kind of necessary to do an update. Next video, we're going to work on trying to get this thing rolling again by putting some, doing the floor patches and stuff, getting this thing ready to be certed. But long story short, this thing's getting a proper 4-link, and I get to build it, so that's exciting. So Thank you guys for watching. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I'm sorry this was kind of a more boring video, but I felt like it was needed to kind of just explain why I missed a whole week again. But we were busy, ran into some roadblocks. I had to figure out what I wanted to do. I figured it out. That's the direction we're going to go. And we're going to have some fun with it. So, thank you guys for watching. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I'm excited I get to build my own four-link. That's going to be real fun. And my whole little rear frame section is going to be sweet. All out of chromoly. But it is what it is. So, I'm going to end this video off here. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.